Friday, June 26. Here's what investors are watching in Korea today. We're doing a deep dive into your market sources and research notes to figure out if, this massive semiconductor rally is actually built to last or if it's a heavily leveraged trap just waiting to spring.
Yeah, well, the anchor here is the KOSPI. It closed at 8,930, so that's up like 5.42%. And the real catalyst for this is overseas.
Oh, you mean the Micron earnings?
Exactly. Micron just dropped a $41.5 billion revenue print, which basically confirmed that AI demand is locked in straight through 2027.
Well, through 2027. That's huge.
Right. And that gravitational pull just dragged Samsung up 5.29% to 350,001. Plus, SK Hynix rocketed up 13.06% to 2.91 million won.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second. With Samsung sitting at an 8x forward PE and Hynix at 9x while Micron is way up at 19x, are Korean chip makers essentially the deeply discounted house in a booming AI neighborhood?
That is exactly what's driving this. It's a fundamental re-rating event. Domestic institutions realized these stocks were on sale and aggressively bought 3.32 trillion won. That's about 2.4 billion US dollars.
Just flooding the market.
Right. It was such a sudden flood of buy orders that it actually triggered a KOSPI sidecar.
Well, a sidecar. I thought a market halt was usually a huge red flag.
Yeah.
Why is pausing the market a good thing here?
Well, a sidecar going upward, it's just a 5-minute halt on program buy orders. It actually signals extreme institutional momentum, not market stress. It gives the system a minute to catch up. But here's the weird part. Retail and foreign investors were actually net sellers today.
Selling into a massive rally, that's interesting. I guess pointing to the record 38.63 trillion won, or $27.6 billion in retail margin loans. Are we looking at a market that's just over-leveraged?
Completely, and that creates a massive forced selling risk. Think of that margin debt as a tripwire. Early July brings preliminary earnings from Samsung and SK Hynix.
Oh, I see where this is going. If those numbers miss expectations even slightly.
Yep, the stock prices drop. Then brokers will automatically liquidate those retail shares to cover the loans. That forced selling drives the price down even further. It just becomes this vicious cycle.
So domestic retail investors have built this leveraged house of cards right as a massive macro storm is brewing, because your notes highlighted Fed Chair Kevin Warsh's inflation stance, pushing the dollar index above 101.
Exactly. And when the dollar gets that strong, it makes dollar-priced assets more expensive everywhere else. It naturally drains capital out of speculative plays globally.
Which explains the immediate casualty today, right? Gold got crushed down to $3,980, slipping below $4,000 for the first time since November.
Yeah, but it goes way beyond commodities. Look at space ETFs. They bled $206 million US dollars in net outflows as SpaceX shares corrected heavily. People are just pulling back from risk.
So if you're an investor, you've got this tug-of-war between strong AI fundamentals and these heavy macro headwinds. Plus, there's an impending catalyst to watch. The National Pension Fund is naming a new CIO to manage a staggering $1.4 trillion, or 1,900 trillion won.
Right, drawing from all the major domestic funds.
Exactly. So what's the big takeaway for you here?
The wall of broker targets, including JP Morgan at 12,500 and Goldman Sachs at 12,000, signals that the semiconductor rally now carries fundamental earnings support, not just sentiment momentum. However, with foreign investors remaining net sellers and margin balances at an all-time high, any earnings disappointment from Samsung or SK Hynix in early July could trigger forced selling at scale. Tomorrow, watching whether KOSPI can reclaim 900 and whether gold holds above $3,980 will tell you if Thursday's chip-led surge was a true sector re-rating or the start of a broader risk-on move.
That's today's AI Prism, Markets Daily. This episode is produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI Prism is a One IFRO award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.